Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have an agenda. Okay, so I have been starting doing this thing where I just talk about things I found on Fashionphile for the week, and it kind of seemed like it was getting a little bit consistent. And every single day I look at Fashionphile, and this week there was it was crickets. It was absolutely nothing. I did see one thing, and it actually kind of ties into a comment that I had. And instead of just talking to this person online, I just figured I'd address it and kind of show you guys in a video. So my one Fashionphile find of the week is the Togo Swift 2424, size 35 in Rouge Piment. And this bag is for $5,095, which is a really good price for an Hermes 2424 size 35. Now that kind of ties in with the comment because let's see, it's Constitutional Carat 3720 said, I'm thinking of getting the 35 for work, but only if it will fit a 13-inch laptop, specifically a MacBook Air. I don't have one of those, but I do have a tape measure. Seems like the body would fit it, charger and all, and I drive to work, so the weight would not be as big of a problem, but I'm concerned about the opening. Do you think a laptop would fit? Okay, so I've talked numerous times about how the opening to the 2424 is atrocious. Once something's in there, it's in there, but the opening is the biggest issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure the opening. I have it set. I had it set. This thing is slowly shrinking. Oh no. Okay, I think it's good now. I have it set to 13. Oh my gosh, this tape measure is absolutely worthless. Sorry. I'm just gonna hold it there. All right, so I feel like if you somehow were able to put it at an angle and then maybe slide it in, look how dirty that is on there, and maybe slide it in, you might be good once you get it in, but I think it would be a really rough fit. And I mean, you could always purchase one on Fashionphile and then return it. Or I don't know, maybe go to an Hermes and see if they have one available and you can bring your laptop with you. I mean, that's a totally legit thing to do if you're buying it as a work bag. I just feel like if it's a work bag and it's something that you're going to be in and out of every single day, then it might be a little bit annoying to have to try to fight with your computer every single day if it's that tight of a fit. But also maybe if you're using it every single day, then maybe it'll kind of work the opening a little bit. I mean, if it's a bag that you're going to have forever and you don't care to resell it or anything, if you're able to kind of maybe stretch it out to fit your needs, then maybe that's okay with you, and that might work out. But from what I see, it's a really, really tight fit. So let me know if you end up getting one and if it works out for you. I'd be totally interested. Okay, so then another thing I wanted to bring up, it has nothing to do with handbags. I have handbags literally falling on top of me right now. Nothing to do with handbags, but I just wanted to show you guys. So I was scrolling through Instagram, this person I follow, I honestly can't even remember whose page I saw it on, but she had a picture of these pants that she was wearing, and literally the picture, all you could see was just like this much of the pants, and but I could see the label, I don't know, it was kind of it was facing down, it was upside down, it was like this. But I figured out what the label said, and I found this website, Handover, and they basically have designed all their pants around boxers. But I thought the look was so cool, most specifically the leopard print pants, and I bought them. I'm gonna go ahead and put up a picture on here so you can see what it looks like on the model. I am definitely not a model. But this is what they look like. They're pretty good quality. I mean, you can see on the inside it's white, which I wasn't a super fan of. There are no pockets, but the fly works. My husband thought it was pretty funny that I have pants that are basically boxers, and when I wore them out of the house, I think he was a little bit embarrassed. But this is something that you should definitely check out. These pants are $119. kind of considering the sparkly sequin ones. I don't know, it kind of seems like a pain in the butt because those little sequins would probably catch on to everything and get pet fur, so I probably won't do it, but they're really cool looking. And I don't know, just if you're interested. So finally, 5 minutes in, coming to the agenda of the day. I also like to look at PurseBlog, Purse Forum every once in a while. It's not an everyday thing, but if you're a handbag lover and you don't know about this website, you should definitely check it out. They do this one thing, I think it's called Closet Confessionals, where they basically have a list of questions that you could submit to them, and then they just put it up as like an article. I didn't necessarily want to submit it, but I did think it'd be kind of fun to go through some of the questions. Some of the questions are a little bit personal, but it is kind of fun to go through some of these questions. They're pretty lengthy, so I don't know how long this video is going to be, so we'll just kind of see how it goes. I'm going to fly by the seat of my pants on some of these questions. I haven't really looked over them in depth, so we'll see what happens. So name, my name is Allie, if you don't know. I'm not going to give you my email. Am I a Purse Forum member? I believe I am. My age is 38. Let's see. Where do I live? I live here on YouTube. What is your occupation? I am a speech language pathologist. What industry do I work in? I work in the medical setting. My annual salary range, very personal. So I'm going to let you Google what a medical SLP makes, and just keep in mind that I like overtime. Okay, let's see. How many bags do I own? So I did pre-look at this question because I had no idea how many bags I own. And if I'm talking about just like the higher end, like luxury, like Hermes and Chanel and Gucci and Fendi and those types of bags, Louis Vuitton, we're looking at about 30. If we're talking about more contemporary brands, like adding those in as well, like Longchamp and Coach and just like little random bags, I think the number is like literal infinity. What bags are in your collection? I think that if you have watched this channel, you have a pretty good idea of what bags I have in my collection. And if you have not watched this channel, I'm going to ask that you go back and look at them, all my videos, because you'll have a really good understanding of the answer to this question. But in general, I love Longchamp, I love Hermes. I've definitely gone through my Chanel and Louis Vuitton phases. My Fendi baguette phase was awesome. I think I might be getting into like the desire of Fendi peekaboos here, so maybe that's another question coming up. How much is your total collection worth? I honestly have no idea, and I think that's kind of a loaded question, because I feel like when you purchase a bag from the store, depending on, I mean, it really just kind of depends on the brand, right? Like if I go to Hermes and buy a Mini Kelly and then I were to turn around and sell it, I would make a profit. But if I go to Fendi and buy a peekaboo, then I'm going to not be able to even get probably half of what I sold it for. So I have no idea what this collection is worth. What is your most expensive bag? So the most money I've spent in store on a bag would be my 24 size 29. And then my most expensive that I've spent online would be this bag right here, I think. I spent like $9,000 on my Kelly. And I bought it off of Fashionphile, I believe. But I also traded in a bunch of bags in order to get this bag. So it's between this one and the 24. Do you ever experience buyer's remorse after purchasing a bag? And if so, how do you deal with it? I don't think I do, because the majority of my bags I buy from Fashionphile, and if I'm not happy with the purchase, then I'll just sell it back to Fashionphile. Let's see, do you feel a desire to downsize your collection? If so, what factors are driving that decision? So my husband likes to say that I'm a phase person. And I definitely do go through phases where I have like all these little bags that I've kind of collected and that were just kind of like impulse buys. And then I'm just kind of like, I just don't need all these little bags. And so I'll sell a bunch. And I recently mentioned that my collection's at around like 30 luxury bags. That's a ton of bags, and I really don't want my collection to get to like a size of 70 or something like that. Like that's just way too vulnerable for me to have all that money in 70 handbags or something along those lines. So I like having an ebb and flow of bags in my collection, but I don't want a ton, and I'm very happy with the collection that I have right now. There may be a few that I would consider like trading or upselling or things, or upgrading or things like that, but downsizing to a point where it's like maybe 10 bags or 5 bags, I definitely don't have that desire. I think where I'm at right now is good, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. What age did you get your first designer bag, and what was it? So I think I was 22 or 23. It was a Louis Vuitton bag, and I can never remember the name of this bag. It was like, I don't know, I have no idea. It was like a hobo bag with like a thick strap. I recently sold it. I liked it when I got it, but I didn't do a lot of research. I literally walked into a Louis Vuitton with a friend of mine, and I just picked something off of the wall. Is there a specific bag that you're looking to purchase next? So Fashionphile has this layaway program, and I may or may not have 1 or 2 or 17 bags on layaway. Who knows? But I kind of have purchased a couple of bags. Whether I go through with it and pull the trigger, I will show you guys when I get it in. Let's see, do you have a holy grail dream bag that you've always wanted to own? Yeah, I think it was my Birkin that I have right back here. It's not like I never use my Birkin. I think I'm just too scared to use it. And I think it's because I only have one of them in my collection, and I'm terrified of people recognizing it and getting mugged or whatever, something like that. So I don't really bring it out, but I think the work-in may help my confidence in being able to wear it out of the house. It would be nice to maybe have a couple more Birkins, a couple more Kellys in my collection, but this is years and years down the road. I'm not looking to add a bunch of Kellys and Birkins this year. Any particular bag that holds a special sentimental value? I would say, I'm trying to think, like looking around. For some reason, I really like this specific Chanel bag that I have. I I've only bought 2 Chanel bags, but for some reason, this one, I remember when I bought it, it was kind of like a grown-up moment for me, and I'll put a picture of it in here because I don't really want to get up and go across the room to get it. But yeah, it was just like a very special moment. Like I just felt like, you know, an adult. I was buying a Chanel bag. The sales associate was so sweet. Yeah, it was a really good experience. So I will never get rid of that bag. I've thought about it, but I will not. All right, do you feel like bags change people's perceptions of you or how you're treated? I actually do think that. Actually, last week when I went to Bulgari, I had my Kelly bag, and the lady actually said something to me. She's like, "Oh, those bags are very hard to get." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess they can be." I didn't want to, you know, I don't know. It was just kind of interesting that she made a comment about the bag, but yeah, I definitely do think, you know, if you're in a store and they, you know, someone knows what the bag is and recognizes it, they might recognize that that bag is very expensive and that you might be able to shell out a little bit more money in their store. So I definitely think that can play into things versus if you walked into the same store with a Coach bag. Do you feel, let's see, I did that one. How do you care of your handbags? So what you see is what you get. I probably should take better care of my bags. All of these bags are stuffed with air paper or real tissue paper, and I keep them upright. Sometimes if I notice that, like for example, this one, if a bag is getting too slouchy, I will put it on its side for a while, but I don't store them in dust bags. I don't store them in their boxes. I live in Florida, and it's very humid here. I do have humidifiers and dehumidifiers, excuse me, in my house. because there was actually one incident where I went to go use one of my Picotins and there was mold lining the whole, it was terrifying, lining the whole inside of the bag. I was able to clean all the mold out. My mother-in-law was super sweet. She bought me those little like things that you find in your shoes that take out the moisture. And I have those in a lot of my bags. I actually need to buy more. Actually, that reminds me, I need to buy more. And if you live in a humid environment, that's a great idea. So I have those in some of my bags. I have the tissue paper. I store them upright. I have the dehumidifiers in my house. But that's pretty much about it. Oh, and take care of, I know some people use like oils and stuff on their bags. I would literally never. I would never. How often do you buy new bags? Way too often. It seems like it's every month or every 2 months. That's probably way too often. How has your bag collection changed during the past few years and why? So I think when I first started buying bags, because I went from literally having like no designer bags and not caring about high-end designer bags to all of a sudden like my brain switched and I was obsessed. I was buying almost like one of everything and wearing it for a while, like Chloe bags, like I don't even know, guys, like just any kind of bag that I had maybe like looked at from back in the early 2000s and admired, but knew that that was completely unobtainable for me at the time because I was working as a veterinary technician making no money. I was buying those bags, like Balenciaga city bags, like all those bags, and then selling them to then obtain like a different bag that I had seen and was super curious about. So I went from having that kind of mindset to now I really want to kind of narrow my collection more towards Hermes and more like the Kellys and the Birkins, like those really sought after, like hard to get bags. So that's kind of like my goal. However, I still want to have some fun, and I think you know, I had like a little phase here where I was super obsessed with the Loro Piana L27 and I'm kind of this is like off on a tangent, but I'm kind of eyeing the Fendi Peekaboo bags. I've had 2 or 3 in the past, and there's this one girl I follow on YouTube and she talks about how like Fendi Peekaboos are like her bag, and she likes them only in bright colors. If you know who she is, let me know because I can't think of her name at the moment. But I kind of thought about that and I was looking at Fendi bags and I 100% agree. Like a gray or a black Fendi Peekaboo just doesn't hit the same way that like a bright pink or a bright purple Fendi Peekaboo does. So I might, if I find good deals on Fashionphile, throw some of those into my collection as well. That was a really long answer. This is going to be a really long video. I'm sorry, or you're welcome. Do you prefer shopping for bags online or in store, and why? Okay, so I think both. I think I like the experience of shopping in store because you can see the bag, touch the bag. You can like have that, build that relationship with a sales associate, but online, I don't know, for some reason I get a little bit more of a rush online when I'm buying a bag, and I'm not quite sure why that is. It's almost like that like primitive brain, like addiction type, I don't know. I love shopping on Fashionphile. They've done a great job with their site because they got me. Which stores do you frequent the most? I would say Hermes and Fashionphile. I bring them up a lot. Have you ever returned a bag after purchasing it? Yes, all the time when it's online, but in a store I never have. Have I ever? No, I don't think I ever have. I don't think I've ever returned a bag that I bought in store. Do you ever buy secondhand bags, and if so, where do you buy used? I think you know the answer. Do you ever donate or gift your bags? My old bags. So I've given some bags to my mom and my sister. Nothing super like high end. I gave my sister a Gucci bag, like a Gucci diaper bag. But if I'm going to get rid of a bag, it would be to sell it to then put that money into something else. Do you feel that social media or influence culture pressures you to buy more bags or certain brands? I think it can definitely mean, I mean, obviously the name influencer is there for a reason. I definitely feel like if I'm scrolling and I see something that pops out at me, it might influence me. For example, watching that one YouTuber with her Fendi Peekaboo bags has definitely inspired me to look for bright, fun, colorful Fendi Peekaboos. So I definitely think that influencers are an influence. Do you consider your bag purchases financial or emotional investments? I mean, I think if I sold my entire collection, I could definitely get some money back, but I don't think that it's a good financial investment at all. I would never recommend anyone buy handbags as a financial investment. It's not an investment in my opinion. Maybe they'll go up a little bit, but maybe they'll go down a little bit. Maybe your house will flood and they'll all get ruined, and there's no bag insurance that I found. And if you know of any handbag insurance, let me know. But yeah, I definitely don't think this is a very smart investment. I think it's more just emotional maybe, but really just more fun. Do you follow the latest fashion trends when deciding on your next purchase, or do you prefer classic styles? I actually think I prefer like things from back in the day, or just things that inspire me, or like the classic styles of Hermes. I don't really go for trendy bags. Like for example, like I don't know, if Louis Vuitton comes out with a bag and all the influencers jump on it, I'm not really a type of person who's going to jump on it. Are sales associate relationships instrumental to your shopping? I really like my Hermes sales associate, but it doesn't really make me buy more. Like that relationship doesn't, I don't feel pressured to buy more, but I enjoy him. He's a very nice man. Do you enjoy shopping beyond just acquiring something new? Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of girls enjoy shopping. I guess it's kind of like the thrill of the chase. Have you ever felt you received inferior service at a store or boutique due to your appearance, ethnicity, or gender? I will say I went to Hermes one time right after work, and I work in the medical field, so I was wearing scrubs. And I remember standing there talking to my sales associate, and I looked over and I very much felt like one of the other sales associates was like staring me up and down. I think because I was wearing scrubs, and I had like my work bag, and I don't really ever wear any of my good bags to work. I probably had like a Longchamp bag or something. So I felt judged in that moment, but my sales associate has always been very nice. What are factors that may dissuade you from buying a bag, even if you like it? The price. Is there a brand that you outright refuse to buy, and why? Well, I'm looking at my city bag right now. So Balenciaga had that big scandal a year or two ago because of an ad that they made that had something to do with like children and just very inappropriate stuff with children. Balenciaga came out with the Rodeo bag, and I was extremely tempted to buy it. And I'll be honest, I'm still very much tempted by that bag. And I know that, you know, like you should forgive, and maybe I will, but I just have been distancing myself from Balenciaga because of that ad. So yes. Do you ever rent designer bags? No, I feel like that would be a huge waste of money. How do you feel about the concept of quiet luxury? I like it. I like my Loro Piana bags. I like my bags from the row. I feel like if there's a lot of bags from Hermes that if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. Who pays for your bags? Me. Do you set aside a budget for your bag purchases? Kind of. Excuse me. So I set aside, like, I put all my money that goes into other things into those things, and then I have like my extra money that I have off to the side, and I do what I will with that money. So whether that be for trips or concerts or handbags or jewelry, that's what that money goes towards. Let's see. Have you ever purchased a counterfeit because you couldn't afford a designer item? Yes, I remember going to what is it in New York, where like you go like Chinatown. Yes, I went to Chinatown when I was in New York City with my friend, like in my early 20s, and I got this Chanel bag, and I wore it to death, and that thing literally turned into like a pile of just like cloth. That thing was so ratty. Do you use financing or payment plans like Afterpay or Klarna for bag purchases? So I did that one time, and that was when I very first got married, and like I've been buying bags on my own, you know, like without telling anybody or having to be like having to say anything. So I found it was my Hermes Bolide, and it was the one in pink. That bag was beautiful. And I was just kind of like in the mindset of, oh, you know, it's like only this much a month, I'll just do this. And I bought it, and then like later he had like, I left my email open in his computer and he saw that and he really was upset that I didn't tell him about it. I didn't even think to tell him about it, but yeah, I don't do that anymore. Do you ever resell bags on platforms like Real, Fashionphile? Yes, of course I do. Do you think owning luxury bags helps you in professional or social situations? Professional, no, because I don't bring my bags to work, and social situations, no. I hang out with people who are pretty chill and laid back, and honestly, the reason I have this channel is because my friends do not care about handbags. I literally don't have anyone to talk to handbags about because all my friends are like, I don't know, like my friends are very sporty or like outdoorsy, and I hate camping. I don't like bugs. Yeah, so you guys are like my handbag friends. So maybe it helps me in this social situation. Do you ever hide purchases from your significant other? I just kind of talked about that, and absolutely not. Whenever I go to the store and get a bag, or whenever I purchase a bag and it comes in the mail, or I get it from Fashionphile, I will do my unboxing video and then I prance out into the living room and show him. Or sometimes I'll open it first and then I'll come and do the video, but one of those ways. Have your friends or family ever criticized your bag buying habits? If so, how did you respond? No, everyone's been very nice and knows that people spend their money differently. Do you think your shopping is ever a problem? Have you ever felt like you were struggling with a shopping addiction? I think it's like borderline sometimes. I think I can be very impulsive and I need to be careful. So, like for example, if I really want something and it's a really expensive purchase and I don't have the money saved up for it, it can be tempting for me to not like just put it on a credit card, but I'm pretty good about saying no and waiting. And then it says, let's get personal. So I don't know if this is something that you guys would want me to get into. It's like, what is your greatest extravagance? What is your greatest fear? All that kind of stuff. I feel like that's not really handbag related, and this video is already 27 minutes long. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there. But if you want me to get super personal, then I'm happy to do that in another video. But thank you guys so much for letting me kind of talk this out. Like I was kind of saying a second ago, I don't have friends that are super into handbags. And so this channel has been an extremely awesome outlet because I just kind of felt like I was going on this really weird, expensive handbag journey by myself, and being able to film these videos and like film these unboxings and share with you guys is great. And then when you guys talk to me in the comments about like a bag that I got or a bag that you just got, I had someone recently share a bag that she like an bag that she just got on my Instagram, and that is just so cool, like having friends online that share such a like niche interest. And yeah, it's just been a really cool experience, and thank you guys so much for like being part of that journey. But that being said, if this PurseBlog like little quiz thing is something that you would be interested in doing and submitting to PurseBlog, go on PurseBlog.com. It's called Closet Confessionals, I believe, and you can go ahead and submit yours onto their website. Or if you want to just go into my comment section and answer a couple of these questions, I would love to hear just kind of like your experiences, your thoughts on some of these questions. How many bags you have in your collection. I love chatting about handbags, so please go ahead and leave comments like that. It would be super exciting. So thank you for watching. Once again, if you have any questions about any bags in my collection that you want to see, or yeah, any other questions, just let me know. Thanks guys, have a good one.